Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to some more Dominions 4 Multiplayer Showdown. Episode 33, turn 46. Let's get started. So, we left off last time with, you can see there's a lot going on here because we left off with a pretty big event, and that was the battle against Tortuga's forces as they tried to invade my land. We had basically positioned ourselves and had everything set up and ready to go, so that we could fight off the invaders coming in. Now, I haven't watched the battle yet. I haven't looked at the report or anything. I have no idea who won. I wanted to keep this all a big secret so that way you guys can, I can in real time, well, I guess not real time because you're going to be watching this after I've done it, but in real time as you watch it, I'm going to be also commentating what's happening and what I think is who's going to win and where things are swinging to, and I'm really excited because I think this was long overdue and it needed to happen. So let's go ahead and check out the battle. You can see there was some other stuff here too. Some independents attacked us. We could click on that and just look. We lost, but I mean, all of our forces are engaged in something else, so it's not like it's a big deal. Looks like I caught a bunch of sneaking enemies too, which was interesting. But and then we had an unexpected event. Casper of the cave has arrived in your province and told you where to find the deepest cave in the province. Unfortunately, he also awakened some strange beings in the deeps. Magic site found. Oh, that's cool, and we're not even going to be able to probably take advantage of it. Oh, well. All right, let's go ahead and watch the battle. So this entire episode's actually going to be, is going to be just the battle. So just be prepared for that. All right, let's go ahead and pause it right off the bat. Okay, this is good. Wow. So much for spending all that time setting all of this up because, frankly, this is just a mess. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in Dominions 4. Can I just zoom out so you guys can really get a look at that? Look at that army. I mean, it mainly consists of just useless cannon fodder. He has way more powerful troops than I have, but man, that army, that is a big undead force to be reckoned with. What do we got over here now? I can take a look at some of his units. There's a vine ogres. Yes, they are very, very powerful units. Those are going to be a doozy. We know these archers up here are going to give us a pretty hard time. I'm not really worried about those guys. They're definitely more to absorb. These guys, Summer Line, could give us an issue, and we know that these guys are pretty tough too. They're Death Mage. They're usually pumping out undead units like it's cool. As you see, Death Stink. Oh, that's my guy actually. Has cast Horde of Skeletons. Okay, let's go ahead and start it, right? It's going to take a while. Alright, I do want to kind of... Actually, let's go slow, right? Because I want to kind of narrate some of the stuff that's going on, especially because I set up my forces to kind of do certain things, and I want to see how those things turn out. So immediately, the very first thing you guys might notice is that I don't even see like all of my units here. It looks like there's a large, so the cavalry units, they're going in to engage. Now I had 3 groups of cavalry. You can see them kind of outlined here. This is gonna be a longer episode, by the way, brace yourselves. I have one outlined here, one outlined over here. You can see kind of where the lines are drawn on how these groups are split up, right? And we've got one in the center. So what we had done, if you guys remember, is I set 2 cavalry groups on each end to do a flanking maneuver. The group in the center was simply a trampling / distracting unit. I knew the cavalry units could get in there really quickly. They're going to bog down these archers he seems to have in the front. He put these archers up here, I think, right? They're archers? They are. So he put these archers up here in the front, and they're going to be in some trouble because, well, he's got archers all over the place now that I think about it. And they carry swords too, but they're going to be in a little bit of trouble because they're going to be engaged by cavalry units pretty instantly, so I do want to see how these units engage. Now, my biggest thing is I wanted to see if these units actually tried to perform their flanking maneuver that I had originally gave them. You can see those arrows going in there having very little effect against such a large squad of undead units. They're casting undead units themselves, but I've got way more mages. Okay, what was that there? So protection from this poultry, that's a pretty big one. So everybody here basically is officially like has blessings. They can't be banished, which if he's got banishing units, he's in for a rough surprise because he probably didn't see that coming. Alright, so cavalry units immediately engaging and just, oh my god, doing exactly what I wanted them to do. 2 lines of cavalry units engaging the vine ogres. I'm already taking down 1. We can see he's got some special units coming in. This cavalry unit doing the most damage as they clash with a group of the Diabacomos there, or whatever. These archers here, they're just absolutely slamming into them. This group, not as effective. Let's see how it plays out with that, though. We've got undead forces coming in. Boy, I wish I grabbed the bottle of water, because I'm going to be talking a lot this episode. I try to narrate this battle as best I can. You know, okay. It's so bad because like those spells like that and everything, they seem super effective until you're dealing with, you know, till you're dealing with this. This is obviously a problem. All right, so come on. So this cavalry unit's still the most effective. I'd like to see some more damage here as they close in. This was a good idea to set these up like this, though, to do this flanking maneuver. Lots of magic. Yeah, I figured that was going to be a thing. They're going to be casting a lot of spells. Horde of Skeletons, obviously a big one. We see those archers trying to do some damage, but they just can't get in there. I don't see any units dropping from that. I don't even know if the lictors are going to... Okay, here we go. Cavalry moving in. All my undead forces just absolutely coming in. I've got more cavalry flanking, but it's not going to matter at this point. Small cavalry group in the back that's going to flank as well. Geez, even if units attack from the back, they'd never do anything. This is just amazing. These elephants obviously not going to have any effect in the early stage of the battle. This cavalry unit still putting down a lot of pain. Now we're going to see that start kind of rubber banding back because he's actually casting a lot of Horde of Skeletons. I am as well, but I mean, he's managed to bolster his forces considerably larger by casting this. So it's really going to be like pretty much the block that my cavalry smashes up against. They're not going to be able to push too far outside of that. I like that they are tying up a lot of these units, though. You can see that this entire unit over here is pretty tied up with the engaging cavalry. They're not able to really react to anything else because of that. The ones in the front are making a great distraction as well. This is exactly what the cavalry were supposed to do. They were supposed to die by throwing themselves in there and causing just an insane distraction. A large enough distraction that my undead units... Oh, here we go. Big protection just coming in. Look at that. I mean, this just super powerful spell right now with how many I've got out there. Yeah, cavalry creating a distraction so that the rest of my units can close this gap here. This essentially no man's land, right? So now they're coming in super heavy. Oh, this is going to go down in the history books of Dominions 4. I'm telling you guys, this is awesome, okay? So here we go. Cavalry starting to fold up, especially on this side. But remember, guys, I also set up several units of undead skeletons and the long deads and such to do flanking as well. So now that the cavalry's starting to fold up, we're going to see those long deads starting to close that gap real quickly and engage the enemy, which is a pretty big deal right now, okay, with what's going on. So cavalry in the front still really holding their ground. I'm very impressed. They've almost taken out that entire front archer army. There's no way. Man, if Tortuga wins, I'll be really impressed. I just don't think it's possible. But maybe. We see the smite coming in there, but I mean, it's so just ineffective with everything that's going on. It's just not going to happen. It's like throwing rocks into a sea. It's just completely useless. It's not even... Look at... Okay, so this is the most important part, all right? Undead armies finally closing that gap, and there's so many. They're literally just mauling through. I don't even think that he's going to be able to put up a defense up here in the front line. By the time his archers finally were starting to get free of my cavalry units by killing them, he's already closed that gap. Now, these guys, obviously, they also have swords and good armor as well. But it doesn't really matter. I've completely rendered his ability, his archer's ability, just useless by closing that gap very quickly in the beginning, which is exactly what I had mentioned I wanted to do. Vine Ogre is doing all right, but they're not lasting too long. I haven't seen these guys in battle yet. They are ethereal, so something to worry about. But I don't know. It's just, there's a lot more units to go through, okay? The next, like, two movements, we're gonna see these units that I had tasked for flanking, these large groups of long deads, just do exactly what they were designed to do, and that's to go completely around and hit from the sides. And like I said, I wanted to create this sort of pincer movement where I kind of engulfed his army to the point where he couldn't even escape if he wanted to. And we're seeing it happen literally live right here in front of us. One behemoth finally getting in there. Other two are not going to do it, unfortunately. I don't think they're going to get in there until there's a lot more dead units. Once my lictors start getting in there, it's going to cause some issues. I think the Lich King should be up here somewhere, as I have him set to kind of push his way in, but no, he's way back here, so he's way right here. I can't even click on him, but he's here. He's right there. I can't get to him, but I don't think that he's going to make it up there either, which is a little unfortunate because his fear is pretty useful in this cold. But that's all right. He might make it up here if Tortuga manages to push enough of my forces back, which is a possibility, but I'm telling you what, guys, we're watching some of these units fall quick. We've got these whites getting right up in here, which is going to be really good. They've got their Bane blades, so they're just flanking armies. Oh, we still got some archer shots going off, but it's not nearly as effective as it would be if I didn't have him getting tied up here. These flanking units. Okay, so this side here collapsing a little bit. For whatever reason, this side of Tortuga's army has been doing a lot better at repelling my flanks than this side has. This side has really been folding into them a lot more. I still got cavalry alive over here. The cavalry that flanked over here is completely wiped out for the most part. Few scattered forces of it, but not a whole lot. Something to take note of: his entire front of his army has folded up now, so they're gone. These lions, essentially, or summer lions, they have come forward to fill that gap and try to hold that front line, because if Tortuga loses the front, then he's pretty much done for. I'll literally split his force in half, but he's going to hold that front really well. Holding the flanks very well too. This one really well. This one, he's holding it. I'm telling you what, though, we've got some falling back forces. These little weak guys, though, don't really matter. Morale's pretty devastated. They're stealthy. They're not going to matter that much, but the first signs of forces retreating off the battlefield, you won't see that from the undead side because that's just not how we operate. But yes, the first signs of retreating. Is this guy falling back too? Because that would be, yeah, he is. That's a pretty big deal. If those guys start falling back, this is going to be interesting. Boy, I really hope I catch a lot of his stuff too. So once again, still holding the front. If I was Tortuga, I'd be a little fearful of what's going on over here. I see he's got undead units coming to meet me. It's going to get really confusing here as his units clash with mine up here in the front. But these guys here are going to suffer a little bit. So we can see kind of zoomed out a little bit. Here's my flanking force right here. Just closing in. Luckily, these skeletons are coming around to provide some additional support. You know, interesting enough, he's holding off the invasion here. He's repelling it a lot better, this flank, than he is over here, but he seems to have a larger force over here holding out. More people seem to be falling over here, and I'm not sure what the difference could be on my troop placement on why that's even relevant. But here's going to be the big problem, right? My lictors, they're blessed. They've got death weapons. They're well armed and they're closing in fast, okay? A lot of them you can see have negative hit points, and that's because of the blessing I have and the ability that actually allows them to go into negative hit points. So even though a lot of these lictors here falling in the center, we can see look at how far back the lictors go. There's a lot of them there, and as they clash with these summer lions, it's going to be at least enough for us to. The center of the line here is going to be where the largest stalemate is of the whole battle, I'm sure. You're not going to see the center line budge too much until these lions and my lictors die. Whichever dies first, the lions or the lictors, is going to decide who makes the push in the center. And right now I'd say it's about 50-50. Actually, I'm losing a lot of lictors, which is not good. They're falling very, very quickly. Those ethereal units just super tough. But here comes another blessing. And we're starting to get some whites in there and some more lictors just trying to fill those gaps. But those summer lions, they're hard to take down. They're definitely causing me a lot of headache. Now, are these my units or his? It's hard to tell now. I think they're mine. We've got some of his undead units, but his flank here is starting to collapse a little bit. A lot of these are mine. A lot of these units are mine. I'm starting to come a little bit more to the end of my force, though, which is interesting. Tortuga holding out very well, but I don't know. There's at some point it's going to be morale more than anything, and my Lich King should be coming in here. He's still way back here, but plus these undead units just keep. I mean, look at this. I'm definitely pumping out way more undead units than he is. Way more stronger too. He looks like he's casting like Raise Dead. I'm over here casting Horde of Skeleton, and it's a lot more effective of a move. I'm starting to realize a good tactic would have been to put the mages near the front so they could cast these spells in the front of the army. I know it would have made them more vulnerable. However, these, unless he chews through my whole army, which is a possibility, by the time he gets through my whole army, these units will not be useful. Plus, I don't get to keep these undead after the army's over, or after the war or the battle's over. But I would get to keep these ones because they're part of my original army. So I would much rather lose the ones that I don't get to keep than the ones that I do. But that's something to keep in mind for future. Alright, his undead force is starting to engage my undead, so we'll find out who's the better undead here shortly. Okay, so here's something interesting to point out, right? His summer lions have been a huge pain so far in holding this center, okay? They've managed to kill pretty much all of my lictors that engage them. With that being said, something interesting has happened. My lictors here, the summer lions have split more off in this direction, and my lictors now are pretty much unopposed in the center. And I'm going to tell you what, guys, these guys are not going to hold up to the lictors like the summer lions would. These lictors are about to chew through the center of his forces. And the summer lions, yeah, they're just going to rip these long dead apart like it's nothing. But I've got some lictors scattered in there. I've got some wits scattered in there. And these summer lions, they can kill as many long deads as they want. They can't kill them all. We're going to start seeing these guys collapse, just simply overwhelmed with the brute numbers of long dead units being thrown against them. The lictors here just completely unopposed in the center of the battlefield. Some magic spells there trying to stop everything, but I think we're going to see these guys start doing some serious damage here in a second. We're going to watch and see how they do as they engage these undead units. And the few last remaining of the die that the Tortugas got here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's some good hits right there. We're seeing them just chew right through that first. Even those few forces that stepped up to engage the lictors just got ripped apart. And the summer lions still in the same spot because they just can't get through this never-ending wave of undead units closing in. The flank over here, flanks are still holding. I give Tortuga that. He has managed to hold his flanks, but boy, his army is starting to look a little more thin and very spaced out. You can see that it's starting to kind of thin out in certain areas. My undead unit's doing exactly what they're meant to do, and they're starting to kind of bleed around the edge of his army. His forces here desperately trying to close that gap up so they can't get around, but I don't know. It's not looking too good for him. We've got some retreating units as well. Oh. No, they're not retreating. They're just trying to close that gap. See his army actually, as undead forces are coming in and engaging my undead to fill the gap in the army there, his forces trying to prevent my units from spilling over this. They're almost like forming a wall, because if I can get around and get to his casters, it will be over for his army. If I could just stop the casters, because these undead units now that he's putting out are helping to fill all the gaps in. My lictor's still closing in. Both of us, it's a little bit of a stalemate here still. The rest of my army is still just pushing in. That's definitely helping him. I'll say that. Yeah, just having these units kind of... Oh, big deal. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Tortuga's right flank just completely collapsed. Why did it collapse? What made it collapse? These guys are broken. Their morale is shattered. You can only fight lictors for so long. They've got that chill, okay? And it eventually starts to degrade it and eat away at morale, okay? And the lictors are going to do that. They're going to start eating away at morale. On top of that, you know, all the blessings and everything, definitely not helping them. But was there something in particular? I wonder if there was a special unit in here that might have caused it, but it looks like my Lich and the Mummy's starting to close in there, but he's too far away. He has some special effects for fear and everything, and Death Curse, Plague Carrier, but he's certainly not a factor in that. I think they just simply broke just to the sheer numbers. I don't see any reason why they would have broke aside from sheer numbers. And the lictors. I have lictors peppered in here. I can see them, and that helped a lot. But yeah, that's. I'm going to go ahead right now and I think call it my victory. I think I won this. His Summer Lions collapsing, 5 left out in the field. I've got way more lictors at this point. I outnumber him. More whites coming in. I have a huge group back here. He lost the whole entire right flank. There's no way he's going to rebound from that. These guys can pump out as many skeletons as they like. At this point, you can see here at this point, I've got the forward momentum, and as his units retreat, I'm literally just closing that gap super fast. Even the reinforcements of Soulless Warriors coming in is not going to be enough. At this point, I've got so much momentum, I'm just going to run right over that. You can see him moving in. Hey, that's it. He's pretty much in full retreat. His god's retreating as well. I don't think I'll catch him. In fact, I could tell you I'm not going to catch him, but I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. His army's in full retreat. We did actually win this battle, guys. We took his army down. That's a huge deal. That's such a big deal. And I still have a massive force. Unfortunately, his lions will not escape. I will close them off. I don't think it looks like they're pretty much they won't retreat anyways. They're gonna fight to the they're gonna fight down to the last hit point. They won't retreat, which is maybe good for him because it is gonna. Oh, never mind, they're dead. I was gonna say that it might buy him some time, but they fell apart as soon as that happened. Whatever I can catch at this point is just gonna be a bonus. If I could catch his prophet or something, that'd be great. Not gonna happen though. They're pretty much all gonna get away because right here's the edge, so they don't have a whole. They don't have very far to run. Javelins now coming in. We haven't seen those yet. A whole lot. Wow. That's it. That's it, guys. I won that battle, like, completely, and that's where I probably killed these patrolling units, right? So here's the battle report for anybody that wants to see it. 203 out of 294. His whole army is pretty much shot, okay? I just destroyed it. I'm no shy, though. 966 units total killed. A lot of units. That was just rough. So actually going here into the province, wow. There's those troglodytes. Yeah, going here, you can see that he's got a small force here of 40 enemy units. Boy, he's in a pretty rough spot. I'm sure he's going to try to attack me over here. I'm not really too concerned about it at this point. I'm fairly confident in how everything went. With the battle. What I'll do, I guess, then is we're coming to an end of the series anyways, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just, I think, follow him. I could attack this army too for fun. If I move here, he'll just move here. I mean, the whole goal was to get to here and stop this, right? So we may as well just make that move. Other than that, I'm not going to do a whole lot. We're coming to the end of the game here, so I'll just continue to try to chase his army down a little bit because it'll be interesting and entertaining. I'll chase his army all the way to here. I mean, he's got a fort there already. I don't know how he's got or maybe there was already a fort there. I could siege down the fort if I wanted to, or just storm it for fun. That's something I might do too. But you know, we'll head that way because the whole point was to stop Tortuga from winning. He could come in and siege my fortresses, but he's got nothing to gain from it. If I siege this from him, he might lose the throne, and that might cost him the ability to win the game. So I'm going to leave it off right at that, and then next time we'll mess around with the units a little bit more and everything, but this was pretty much just watching that battle. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining me. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you next time.